Moderators, Wadi, Emma, how you guys doing?
Hey guys, welcome.
Hey everyone, so Jay on the call or Maureen on the call also. We are live on YouTube. You can send the YouTube link, which has been sent to the group for the Y4GG. Remember, you're not sending the Zoom link, you're sending the YouTube link for people who haven't registered or didn't register with the sign up link. So this is just to remind you all, if you want to invite people for the summit, you invite them using the YouTube link. Aya, Goma.
Egoleta, casa, cocolation, model, from Madame Spot, possible, thick, constant suture, obvious get a paper check over. We got it, someone again, Savio Jack Daniel. When the first, practice of further café, talent, e capumento, really is what I can from Madame Spot. What a bastard. With new bastard. We got a quick population. Post back the combo skater. What check from the minutes of model. From Madame Spot for Sibuya. Tick, tack, and so fresh. Obvious get a paper check over. We got it, someone again. Where Kupusa, Savio Jack Daniel. Population, Sakapama. Galpala, Penkage, Pama. Mignon, oui, tu n'avais chômé. Jack, ta date dans l'abdomen. On ne peut pas faire jouir si on est petit coco. Mignon reste son nom, il est chez le coco. Annie l'hôtel, avec Chanel coco. Jouer dit la vie, vous savez le coco. Coco l'échelle. Pose pas fait qu'on vous skate. On va check combien de minutes de modèle. Comme Madame Spot pour si vous miel. Tic tac, on suture. Obvious get a paper check over. We got it, someone again. Where Kupusa, Savio Jack Daniel.
Hey, amazing. Bado, next roll call. Let's move to 1K. Get ready for the summit. Hey. Should they stand up?
Please, take the floor. Sweep us.
But my new baby come in my heart. People tell me I am a religion. When I hit the road. All I do is want to go and stay. I give the one but to make them go.
Why do you always lie when you're dancing this way?
And they know my baby give me do. Anything I do, she give me do. I just thank God Almighty. Every day she sugar mighty. My baby, baby, boom, baby, boom. All right, everything to me, boom. My tongue, baby, boom, baby, boom. All right, everything to me, boom.
We expect us to learn so much on SDGs, and get that drive for the passion of the SDG that you want, that you can drive. Hey, DJ.
God Almighty. Every day she sugar mighty. My baby, give me them. Anything I do, she give me them. I just thank God Almighty. Every day she sugar mighty. My baby, with the boom, 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 with the boom. What I be doing to my boom, my boom, score. With the boom, 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 with the boom. What I be doing to my boom.
Hey, on your marks, on your marks.
Your mark, get set. Remit is a tension. Him said the concept ASDM over than them. It's an opacus midday.
Hey, guys, I've missed roll call. Hey, I've missed roll call.
You know,
Things change. Skills and in life, somewhere of
People are working yet.
happy good boy with some
One more roll call. Everyone entering, welcome to the summit. We are happy you're here. Be expectant to learn so much. DJ.
When she walk in, the whole place get quiet. So the girl look just me, I think shot. I know the first time is the girl and she had over that. Woman, so let me have them make more. But them tell my career for much more. How much can it have on them more? On it, never reach to the forming, I know about.
I love the way she looks, her pretty face and smile and a hold on me. And the way she moves, in a the dance and I'm hugging on her body. Get away, she smile, and still I don't wanna share with nobody. It didn't take no time.
Support, if you're an AIESEC, this would bring back memories.
Kenny dancing while sitting. It's so high.
What?
I'm saying dancing while sitting.
Holding on to the waistline, the body bounce to the waistline. Tell her this girl
I've seen everyone to drop an emoji of how they're feeling today morning.
she wind it up. Kiss my queen, I'll give her the crown. I think you're the best woman in a long time. But I never feel so from one time. I love the way she looks, a pretty face and smile and a hold on me.
I see you, Maureen. Yes, Malcolm. Let's get to how you're feeling this morning. Do the weather. Can you do a chilly one? Yeah, I see you. Nice stuff. You feel like a butterfly. That's unique. Amazing, amazing. Just drop an emoji of how you're feeling today morning as a check-in. Nice. I see, hey. Dancing all the way.
I love the way she looks, her pretty face and
smile got a hold on me. And the way she moves, in the dance when I'm coming on her body. Get away, she's mine. She said I don't wanna share with nobody. It didn't take no time. I'm on the rock. One line, falling in love from one
I think we have 1 minute, we start. So maybe we can have rules of engagement from Maureen. So key things to note as we continue with the summit. And what are your do's and don'ts before we have our first session, which is to begin at 11.
Okay. Hi guys. So these are the rules for the call. Like if you want to speak, please raise your hand. And then if you have any questions, please send them in the chat box. Yes. And yeah, that's all. And please do not share the Zoom link. If you're sharing a link, just share the YouTube link. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to pass it over to Tess. No, you don't have to keep your camera on or your audio, like just keep them off. Yeah.
All right. So Basti, thank you so much, Maureen. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so I'm opening the space and I'm basically going to be talking about what AIESEC is. But here in AIESEC, we usually have a tradition. When I say, hey, AIESEC, everyone turns on their microphone and says, what's up? Okay. So, hey, AIESEC.
What's up?
What's up?
What's
What's
Okay,
up?
another one for the people at the back. Hey, AIESEC.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
All right, sawa. So, for anyone here who is not in AIESEC, first of all, my name is Tess Thuo. I'm the Vice President under Talent Management in AIESEC in MOI. AIESEC is a leadership organization, but not only is it a leadership organization, but the largest youth-run organization. AIESEC globally is in 128 countries, and locally, we're in 8 universities. So when was AIESEC formed? AIESEC was formed after the Second World War, when a bunch of young people came together and decided that to prevent similar conflict, we should promote cross-cultural exchange. So what is our vision as AIESEC? We strive to attain peace and fulfillment of humankind's potential. So I'm just going to split these two visions. I'll split the vision into two, and they're striving for excellence. Striving to maintain peace, and fulfillment of humankind's potential. So then how do we strive to achieve peace? By activating leadership. We believe that leadership is a fundamental solution and it can be developed in anyone. How do we fulfill humankind's, my bad. Let me just pull up and start again, my bad. Striving to achieve peace and fulfillment of humankind's potential. So we strive to achieve peace through cross-cultural exchange. And that's necessarily what makes AIESEC a different organization from all the rest. So what is cross-cultural exchange? It's basically we bring people into the country and take people out of the country through 3 different programs that we run. So we have Global Volunteer, which you go to another country and you volunteer. And then we have Global Entrepreneur, where you go and work for a startup, and Global Talent, where you go to another country and you basically work in reference to what you studied in school. So that's how we strive to maintain peace. And then how do we fulfill humankind's potential? We fulfill humankind's potential by activating leadership. As I said earlier, we believe that leadership can be formed in anyone, and we believe that leadership is a fundamental solution. So then, which brings me to the big question. So then, why did AIESEC come up with Youth for Global Goals Summit? AIESEC creates opportunities. All these exchange programs that we run are SDG aligned. SDG standing for Sustainable Development Goals. So in order for us to have projects that are SDG aligned, we have to learn more about the SDGs to be able to create perfect opportunities for people to be able to go to these other countries and learn about AIESEC and about those projects in the other countries. So then why is it the Youth for Global Goals? Why the youth? Every AIESECer, or rather the question that is in every AIESECer's mind or in every AIESEC entity is, what if every young person out there could be engaged? What if every young person out there, leadership could be developed in each of them? And once you're able to answer that question, then you're able to understand why having us young people in this summit today is actually the solution, is actually the best way to create awareness on SDGs and how to align our projects in AIESEC using the SDGs. So that's it from me. If anyone has any question about AIESEC, I would take this time to take it. Yeah. I think I've even finished. I had 10 minutes and I have 5 more minutes to go. So anyone anyone who wants to ask me a question about AIESEC, anything they've not understood, and maybe for those people who are not in AIESEC, maybe you can tell me in the chat box, what have you heard about AIESEC? Have you ever heard about AIESEC? Have you ever heard about what we do? And if you have, what have you heard? Masi Mutuku has a question. Yes, Masi.
Hi, Tess. So first,
Hi, what's up?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for the presentation. It's really nice. So my question is, how you talked about AIESEC. Do I have to be a university student to be a member of AIESEC? Because I'm not a member, but I'm interested. So I'm not too sure that I missed that on your presentation. So probably you could highlight it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Marcy, for that question. Do you have to be in university? No, but you have to have affiliation to a university. What does that mean? We have members who go to maybe Daystar, but are AIESECers in a different university. You need to have affiliation to a university, but also AIESEC targets people between the age of 18 to 30. So and 18, you tend to be in university. So anyone younger than that can't join AIESEC until they turn 18. Mercy, have I answered your question?
Yes, thank you. I'll reach out to you.
Anytime. Does anyone else have a question in reference to AIESEC? All right. Sawa sawa basi. I think I've covered everything. So if you're here and you're not in AIESEC, please go look for your nearest university and sign up for AIESEC, because this is the place you need to be. This is really where you need to be. And let me just finish with thanking all of you guys for coming through this early morning. It's not very hot, but you're here. And I hope that by the end of the summit, each of you will have learned a little bit more about SDGs and the role that you play. And even as the sessions continue, it's more about you as a person and which SDG you completely vibe with. And that's the difference you're trying to make. So that's it for me. And thank you so much for the space. Let me throw it back to the moderator, which is either Max or Boari. Makofi, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Tess. Yes.
Yes.
I think in the chat box there's someone who has a question, someone else.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I never saw. Oh, yes. Yes, Jaina, you have a question? And also, yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I have a question. Is it okay to like sign up for AIESEC, like even like if you're close to going to college but you're not like 18 yet? Because like does it still count? Or
Okay, okay, I don't want to. Okay, yes. How close are you to joining college? Jana, how close are you to joining?
maybe like not really like close, but not like this year.
Yeah. No, that's okay. You can actually sign up. You just need to figure out if your college has AIESEC, and if it doesn't have AIESEC, then which other university can you sign up in?
Is it okay if I don't go to that university? Can I just sign up there? Because like what if my university is abroad?
Ah, that's okay. It depends. The country, I said we're in 128 countries. So it means that whatever country you're going to, hopefully it has AIESEC. Because it's gonna be difficult to go to a country that doesn't have AIESEC and then you sign up for AIESEC in Kenya, and then it's going to be difficult to engage with you if it's not physically.
Thank you.
All the best in college, by the way. This life out here is not easy. So all the best. All right, so Basi, I think that's it for the questions. Let me throw it back to Max and Bwari. Over to you guys.
Yes, before they speak, let me just introduce them as well as introduce the objectives for this summit. So first of all, hey guys, how are you? Please drop your emojis in the chat box so that we know how you're feeling right now. We're happy to have you. So my name is Maureen Maina. I'm from AIESEC in MOI, and I'm the organizing committee president for the Youth for Global Goals Summit. And I'm also a TMA, by the way, for AIESEC guys. Yeah, and yeah, I just want to tell you guys like what our objectives for this summit were. So we just wanted to promote three things in line with the SDGs. So wanted to make sure there is awareness, understanding, and action. So awareness, wanted people to know about the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, because I know if, especially for people who are outside AIESEC, not a lot of people know what they are or what they work towards. So that's something that wanted to make be known, like for people to know what it is. Understanding, knowing what exactly they're aiming to do, what has been done so far, what more we can do as young people, how it relates to us, even where we are now in Kenya, not only in the whole world, like in your local community, what can you do? Like, and what resonates with you the most, you know? And the third thing was action. We just want you guys to feel inspired, like to stand up and actually say, yes, I'm going to start a project. I'm going to work on a project so that I can actually make the world a better place, because that's what the SDGs are aiming to do, literally to make the world a better place for all of us. And as young people, we have so much talent, so many skills that we can use in so many ways. And yeah, I'm just hoping that by the end of this, we'll be able to like inspire real action within the youth to actually do something to achieve the SDGs. So yes, welcome. And let me just introduce the speakers. No, sorry, not the speakers, the moderators. So first up, we have. someone who used to be the former president of AIESEC in MOI. He is an event organizer and a host. Let me tell you, the event that he organizes, like, please hire him. If you need anyone, I recommend. And he's also in his last year at MOI, pursuing project planning and management. We have the very special, drum rolls, please, Max Imwendo. You can wave, Max, like this way.
Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys.
Hey.
Hey, Max.
Hello.
Yes, okay. So on to our next moderator. Wow, you guys, have you ever seen a female so powerful? Hey, I'm just reading her bio and I'm like, okay. So next up we have the very special, she's an MCVP elect for the term 2021. If you don't know what that is, she is going to be one of the people who is in charge of AIESEC in Kenya. She also owns a turban company. Yes, it's called CEO of Turban and Co. Yes, you know, what were head wraps? If you need anyone, she's the one. And yes, and she's a final year student at JQuat pursuing industrial chemistry. Wow, yani entrepreneur, scientist, what else? You know, so we have the very special drum rolls, please. Boari Ondima. Yes.
Hi guys. Well, that makes me feel like you're introducing someone else because I'm just like, whoa, all that. But thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be here, and I'm so excited. Yes, excited for today.
Yes. So they're the ones who will be guiding you through all of this. And yeah, I'll pass it over to them. Please have fun, guys. Have an open mind. Share the YouTube links with your friends and enjoy. SDGs, by the way.
Hello guys, and welcome again for the Youth for Global Goals Summit 2020. And we are so excited that you guys made it here, embraced the cold during this pandemic period. And we are super excited that you are here once more. Before we begin the Youth for Global Goals Summit, the sessions, I propose that we do a moment of silence. First of all, to honor all the people who died from the coronavirus. Second, for the people who have died for the Black Lives Matter. And thirdly, one of our own, Duke Nyamoya, lost his mother, sorry. So we are gonna maintain or give a moment of silence for the three categories of people and any other that in your hearts you're praying for or you want to honor. So a moment of silence for all those people. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. And as we begin the session, I just want to once again read out the rules so that we have a very smooth session. So first of all, if you have a question, you can use the raise your hand button or type on the chat box. We advocate for you to type your question on the chat box so that it can be seen by any of the hosts or the co-hosts. Second of all, kindly, if don't unmute yourself, kindly. So don't use your audio. And also we would encourage you to have somewhere to write whatever is gonna be talked about here for you to use in the future. And I think basically that, of course, let's just have sort of decorum as we handle ourselves. Don't ask any question that is not, what should I say, a question that is not relevant to this session, a question that might provoke someone or might offend someone. So let's just have a session for everyone to learn and have fun. Thank you very much, and I'm passing it over to Boari to begin the session with the first speaker. Thank you very much, guys, and I'm excited to have you here.
Hi guys. Yes, that was amazing. I hope we are excited. I love Terry's energy. I know Terry is here, but I love his energy. Yeah, so I am going to talk about the agenda, today's agenda. But before we do that, I hope you have your starter pack, either a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, either your bottle of water because we need to hydrate. I hope you're sanitizing and keeping safe wherever you are. Yeah, and I hope we'll just enjoy the next few hours together. So we will have our agenda. We are on day 1 of the summit, and today is on 2nd of July. So we already had our first part of the agenda by Tess. Tess was supposed to do the introduction of AIESEC. We also had Maureen, who is the organizing committee president, the president of the team that has made us be here right now, that has found the speakers and everyone, which is really, really amazing. The team has done an amazing job. Yes, Ositi Kashi. And then having reading of the day's agenda, which I am doing right now. After this, we will have the introduction of the first speaker. Our first speaker is the founder of Uncut Africa, and she will be talking about the impact of social media on mental health among young people. We will have a question and answer session, of which we were supposed to have sent in our questions in the survey that was sent out yesterday. If you haven't, you can still send out your questions or put your question on the text box. We will see the question. Max and I will be able to see the question, put it down, and ask it during this time. Please do not unmute yourself unless given the chance to. So please either raise your hand or text in the chat box. We will have another speaker who will talk about how best to prepare yourself for successful work or entrepreneurship. Then we'll have a Q&A session. We will have an introduction of the SDG activity. We will disperse into 4 rooms. We'll have AIESEC exchange stories. People who've not interacted with AIESEC before will get to see what we do. Apart from just having summits and conferences, you will get to see what other people have done, and maybe you'd want to also participate. We will have a Kahoot. Yes, we are all about having fun and enjoying participation, in as much as we are learning a lot and how to improve our society. We will also have another speaker who will talk about a holistic me, and we'll also have a Q&A. The last part of the agenda will be another speaker who is actually an alumnus from Strathmore, an AIESEC alumnus, who will be talking about a guide to a successful execution of projects, and then a Q&A. And then we will be wrapping up by having SDG group presentation from the groups that were formed, what you discussed and what you will present. And then we will have the president of AIESEC in MOI, that's Elsie, give the vote of thanks, the vote of thanks, and then we will leave the call at 3:15. So we will do our best to keep time, and yes, make sure the event ends at 3:15 because time is important. Yes. With that, because it's 11:23 and we are supposed to have introduced the speaker by 11:20, I will go ahead and introduce the first speaker. Yes, I hope all of you are excited. So please, on a scale of 1 to 5, do post up on the chat box where you are. Is it a 5? Is it a 3? Is it a 4.5? Is it a 0, so that we know how to probably increase your energy levels. Yeah. So I'm waiting. Whoa, wedding is a 10. I love that energy. Yes, let's keep the numbers coming as we are about to introduce the speaker because the speaker needs amazing energy. Yes, Steve as well, June as well. This is amazing. So to start us off, we have an amazing lady. She is going to open up the summit. She has all the goodies that you probably would want to hear on such a cold day. So she is leading expert in the Kenyan hip hop culture scene. She is an entertainment and all-rounded arts, culture, lifestyle journalist with a 5-year experience working in a fast-paced media house. Wow. Wow. She is a founder of Uncut Africa. Uncut Africa is the entertainment organization for the youth. They, since 2018, have been running Uncut Mental Health KE, which she will tell us more about. Over the years, she has been a radio host. She has been an event organizer. She has been in the PR and marketing sector. She has been an MC in several events. She has been a host in the Africa Nouveau. She has been a content creator. Wow. This is just mind blowing. She has been a music editor and a magazine
Woo!
V.
Yo,
Hi,
yo,
Ruby.
yo. That was crazy. How are you?
We're doing well. How about you?
I'm doing good. Hey, that was crazy. Like I even need a minute. But it's all good. It's all good.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
you're looking amazing.
Thank you so much for the intro. Thank you so much for having me as well. Yeah, I look forward to, wait, my phone is falling. Okay, here we go. I look forward to a great time. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. All right. Yes. So we're supposed to be discussing the impact of social media on mental health. So I'm gonna start off with like a little background, and then we're gonna get into the pros and cons of social media. And then we're gonna get into what's driving your social media use, the signs social media is impacting your health, and then finish off with modifying your social media use to improve your mental health. So I hope you do enjoy this conversation, and I'm looking forward to your questions and your feedback at the end of the conversation. All right, so we're gonna start off with our background, yeah? And just say that human beings are social creatures, yeah? We need companionship to thrive, and the strength of our connections is what impacts our mental health and our happiness, okay? So being socially connected, it helps ease our stress, anxiety, depression, boost self-worth, provide comfort, and joy, and also prevent loneliness, and even adds on to your life. And a direct example of this would be when outside was still open and you could link up with your friends. How you felt when you linked up with your friends, it's always a good time, right? Even if there's like a moment where you might argue with your friend, it's still okay because you're with somebody and you can resolve that on a one-on-one basis. Now it's been 3 months since we were last outside, which means like we're really missing a lot of people right now. And that could add on to some loneliness, on the flip side of that. Now, over time, the technology landscape has rapidly evolved. And most of us, especially during this time, we're depending on social media to kind of make these human connections. Now, I'd have to say that the exposure to screens right here in Kenya, according to the Kenya Bureau of Statistics, it shows that 17 million children have access to TV. And out of the 17 million kids, 60% of these children have access to smartphones. And it further says that for every teenager, they average about 30 hours a week on social media, right? And social media has its, its pros and its cons. It has its good side and it has its bad side. While it has provided challenges, it also has provided opportunities as well. You've seen people on like Twitter. I think Twitter is the one that I'm the biggest fan of, where people get on Twitter and they're like, yo, I'm looking for a job, I'm looking for a place to stay, I'm looking for blood, I'm looking for you to boost my parents' business, all that stuff. So, and on the same social media, there's people who've been trolled to the point where, sorry to say, that they may have committed suicide or they have abandoned social media as a whole. There's a Mama Fua who actually got on Twitter a few months ago. I don't remember what exactly she was doing, but I think she was trying to promote her business. Then one of the big Twitter guys tried to troll her for it. She was looking for business on Twitter. Somebody tried to troll her, and so the other guys on KOT rather was like, fam, nah, you can't do this. This is not going to happen. And they actually supported her to the point where she now, the last time I checked, she'd bought a washing machine, and she was now doing home deliveries. Yeah, she does parcels as well of your dirty laundry. So you can check out the info on social and find it if you'd like to try her. But we should remember, as much as social media is great and as much as it is bad, it could never measure up to or be a replacement for human life interaction. So it is important for each and every one of us to take time off our screens to effectively have conversations with people. Once we get back to normal and we get back to going outside, check in on your people, make eye contact, read the body language, and actually be present. It is shown, according to studies, that human connection is actually required to trigger some of the hormones that alleviate stress. Now, social media was created to help bring us together, right? You could talk to anyone from any part of the world. You could be here in Kenya and you're talking to your family or your friend in the States, in Asia, in Australia, anywhere, right? But ironically, the thing is that for technology meant to bring people together, being on social media can also contribute to feelings of isolation and anxiety. It can actually inflame mental health disorders such as anxiety and depression. And we're going to get into that a little bit better, because you see, one of the most common ways that I guess social media can add on to our stress is because people only front on social media. People only show the good side of everything that's happening on social. You're never going to see someone posting, unless they choose to, a moment that they're going through, a bad situation. People only post their highlights. So you might end up feeling some type of way. If you're in a low, you might end up feeling like, yo, fam, what is really happening? Is the world moving on without me? Are people happy without me? What is happening out there? So it's imperative to remember that people only share highlights on social media. And if you're spending a lot of time on social media, hi Tess, if you're spending a lot of time on social media and you're feeling sadder, more depressed, more anxious, frustrated, more dissatisfied than usual, then it might be a key indication that you need to reevaluate and check on your online habits and how much time you're spending online. So now we're going to get into the pros and cons of social media. And one of the biggest one of the biggest pros right now would have to be social media is the easiest way for us to check on our friends and family, especially during a time like now that we're not allowed to actually meet people. And the only way that we can check on each other is by, FaceTime, making WhatsApp calls, actual phone calls, checking on each other on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, what have you. So that is one great way that we can use social media right now. Another way of using social media to our benefit is to stay updated with whatever is happening in the world. Not only are we updated on all the shenanigans in the entertainment sphere? I don't know if you guys have seen the Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, and August Alsina thing going on social right now. So you get to stay updated on light things such as those, personal things for them, but to us it's entertainment. And also you get updated with whatever is happening as far as the virus is concerned, and how it's spreading, get all this information for your benefit, right? Another way to use social media for your benefit is by finding new friends. You can actually get on there and network with people who have similar interests to yours. And in that way, it can help you, elevate to the next level of your life. If you're in school right now and you get on social media, you might find the next place that you will get placement for your attachment or your internship once school is done. You can also seek or offer emotional support during tough times on social media as well. And how you've seen this is people actually get on social and say, yeah, I'm not having a great day. Things are happening, they're going left, and actually guys come in and they say that, yo, listen, you're not alone in this, we're together and you can always reach me out. And I think I've seen a lot of those messages on my social media, especially like copy paste this. If anybody can, hi Diane, welcome. If you feel that you're at your very lowest, you can hit me up. I'd rather listen to your story than attend your funeral. So social media is great for that. And it's also a great place to join or promote worthwhile causes. We all know what's happened with DJ Evolve, and if you don't know what has happened with that, I think you're living under a rock. You need to wake up, stay updated and with the times. So DJ Evolve went back home, and there's actually a petition on social media where you can help get justice for DJ Evolve against Babu Owino. When I checked this morning, they were looking for 150,000 signatures, and they had just reached about 100,000. So by now, I'm pretty sure we've gone over and ahead over that number. So you can do that on social media as well. It's not all bad. And another thing now with the light heart that you can do on social media is find an outlet for your creativity. Guys like Chero, she's called Chero, right? Yeah, she's thriving on social. Flaco is doing his thing, on social. Aziad, Eric Mondi, Jugush, Abel, Mutua, these are guys who are really thriving on social media and letting us see their creativity. So it's not all bad. On the downside, though, there's a lot of ugly stuff that is happening in the world right now. There's things like police brutality. So you get on there and you see images or you see videos. There's also, what I've just mentioned right now with DJ Evolve getting home and all these clips showing him in a lot of distress as well. So that is also happening on the internet. There have been reports of young women and girls being abused, raped, sexually assaulted, even small girls as small as like 3 months, 3 years. And when you get on social and you see all these things happening, as an empath personally, sometimes you might feel so helpless. You might feel like your energy is being drained, that you can't, or you don't have a right to a moment of peace and happiness. So when you do get on social and you feel like, you're stressed, speaking, it might be time for you to get off social as well. I also talked about people fronting on social, and you might see somebody posting the new designer bag that they got. You don't know how they got it, but it might end up making you feel some type of inadequate, like maybe I should be doing better, I should be doing more with my life, It might end up making you feel insecure as well about what is happening in your life. But it is imperative, it's very important to remember that people only share the great side. One thing that usually catches my attention a lot on social is baby clips. You know, people get on there and they're sharing clips of the children like looking cute, looking happy. And sometimes I'm like, God, that's so cute. I want a little baby, you know? Yeah, women, it happens. Baby fever for 2 seconds. And then I remind myself that they're only sharing the 5 minutes, like they probably ran to get the camera so that they could capture that moment where the baby was having a great time, as opposed to, you know, the 20 hours that they're actually crying their asses off. And, you know, so I tell myself, I try to find balance. I'm like, this is just 5 minutes of the baby being happy. Post the 1 hour that you were feeling like losing your mind, you know? So remember that on social media. Social media can also induce FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. Now, the idea that you're missing out on certain things can impact your self-esteem and your anxiety, and you feel the need to use your social media even more because, for example, like a conversation is happening online and you're feeling like you might miss out on the tea if you log off, you know? So you feel like you need to constantly be on your phone. And the truth of the matter is hardly ever are things like that important that they need you to get or to respond to them at that very moment. It's quite hard, it's quite rare, but you know, social media will have you thinking that the world is moving on without you. And this in turn might trigger anti-social behavior. For example, if you're hanging out with your friends, again, back to while outside is open, you're hanging out with your friends, but you feel the need to be on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, you know, on TikTok, wherever it is, yeah, on social. Now, social media can also trigger depression and anxiety. This ties into, you know, this fear of missing out, and also going back to what I mentioned earlier is the feeling of inadequacy created by social media, where you feel like a little less than, like you're broker than people because I can't afford that lifestyle. I can't afford to eat at a certain place. I can't afford to dress a certain way. You know, you end up feeling bad. So this triggers your depression because you feel like you're not living your best life like other people on social media. So it keeps you stuck, you know, it keeps you stuck and triggers hormones that alleviate your stress even further. Now, something else that happens on social account is cyberbullying. Of course, everyone has an opinion on social media. Remember, everyone has access to the internet. Now, 60%, that's over half, people have access to social media, to smartphones, which of course have social media as well. So it is important to remember that, you know, everyone has an opinion. They say opinions are like, you know, but everyone has one. So it is important to remember that once you get on social, everyone will try to tell you who you are, but you should get on social media remembering or being aware of the actual essence of who you are as a person. And also, as you get on social media, now into the next segment, why are you getting on social media? What is your motivation behind your social media use? Now, again, because social media is easily accessible, we can get it on our phones, we can get it on our tablets. We're literally with it on the go. It can contribute to hyperactivity. Now, this hyperactivity will trigger impulse control and bring about, you know, social problems because you are constantly checking your notifications. It can affect your concentration and focus. It can also affect your sleep patterns. In the middle of the night, you're turning and you're like, hold on, wait, let me check what's happening on Twitter. Like maybe something happened while I was asleep that I need to check on, which is hardly ever the case again. So this in turn makes you a slave to your phone. Now, social media platforms are designed to grab your attention. They're literally made to have you on there 24/7. That is how they make their money. They make sure that you're repeatedly checking your screen for updates, right? But then this effect on you can have the same effect as someone having an addiction to drugs or gambling or smoking. when you get on social media and people, like someone drops a positive comment, they've shared your post, they've liked it. On Facebook now, people can respond with wow and haha. When you get on there and you see that, the reaction that the effect that this reaction will have on you is the same effect as, winning a slot machine in gambling. What you do get is the release of a chemical called dopamine in your brain, which is the feel-good chemical in our brain. So because of this reaction, because of this chemical being released and how good you feel, you end up spending more time on social media because you're looking for this validation. Understand me? But now spending a lot of time on social media can be detrimental to other aspects of your life. For example, right now, if you're quarantined or you're in isolation at home with your family and you're always spending time on social media, it means that you actually do not have time to have one-on-one conversations with your parents, with your siblings, with your roommate, with whoever it is that you're in isolation with. And this affects your in-person interaction, which brings me back to, for some of these hormones in the brain to be triggered, like the stress relieving hormones, you actually need that one-on-one interaction that social media will not give you. So when you get on social, you need to also ask yourself, why am I constantly on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on wherever you are, right? Because heavy use of social media could be a mask for underlying problems such as stress, depression, or boredom. If you spend a lot more time on social media, it helps you avoid dealing with your emotions, right? And in avoiding dealing with your emotions, you're not really tackling the problem. I'm going to quote Rotimi, who said, it is cowardly to run. It is cowardly to not accept that there's a problem. You have to accept that there's a problem in order for you to know how to effectively deal with it. So while it might be difficult at first, the most effective form of dealing with such feelings is by first feeling it. Allow you, what am I feeling? I'm feeling sad. Why am I feeling sad? ABC happened. And besides social media, what way or which form can I use to deal with my problem? All right? All right. I'm seeing we have 3 minutes to the Q&A session. All right, cool. So social media, how you know that, let me run through this quick fast. How you know that social media is actually affecting your mental health is if you're comparing yourself unfavorably with others, which leads to your self-esteem and negative body image. If you're experiencing cyberbullying, which means that you worry about what people are saying about you. If you are distracted at school, at work, just because you have to attend to your social media notifications, if you have no time for self-reflection because every waking moment you're spending on social media, that is a problem. If you're engaging in risky behavior to gain likes, there was a challenge where guys were licking toilets when the virus was announced, and a couple of people actually got the coronavirus, the COVID-19, from doing this stupid challenge. If you're suffering from sleep problems because you're checking your phone last thing at night, first thing in the morning, in the middle of the night when you wake up as well, that is a problem. And if your symptoms of anxiety and depression are being affected, that is also one indication that your social media is being affected. So how you can use social media to improve your mental health is by reduce your time online. You can get apps for that. You can also use the settings on your phone to actually make sure that you know how much time you're spending on social media and set a target for the time that you would like to reduce it by. Another thing is you can get to leave your phone in another room. room and go to bed at night. Leave your phone in another room to charge so that it's not the last thing you check or the first thing that you check. You can add meditation to your schedule, time for self-reflection as well. You can also change your focus on social media. What exactly are you going to do on social? Are you going to share a picture of yourself? Are you going to check on a friend you haven't seen in a very long time? Are you going to get information? That is different from just getting on social media for the sake of getting on social media. You can also use social media to improve your health by getting a gratitude app. Make a list of the things that you're grateful for. When you get on social and you're feeling inadequate, just go back to your little list and remind yourself why you're grateful for, the things that you're grateful for. And also on that list, you can make a list of things that you would miss if they were taken from you. You should also practice mindfulness as well. If experiencing FOMO and comparing yourself to others, that keeps you dwelling on life's disappointment, the what ifs and if whys. I could, instead of being present in the moment right now and actually being grateful for the things that you do have instead of the things that you do not have. Let me finish off by saying, by practicing mindfulness, you can learn to live in the present. And the most effective of competition is with oneself. The aim is not to win or to lose, but instead to grow. By looking at ourselves internally, it can help you improve your mental well-being as opposed to comparing yourself to other people or what is happening on social media. Yes, thank you for your time. I do hope that you have enjoyed this conversation. Yes, we can get into the Q&A aspect right now. If you do have any questions, of course, it's all open.
Hi, Ruby. I really love, I really love the session, especially the last quote. The aim is not to lose or win; it's to grow. That's really, really, really a force on its own. So I'll start with the first question. Looking at the fact that you are a female in the male-dominated industry, that's the hip hop industry in the entertainment, and looking at it at a perspective where it might affect your self-esteem, it might want you to quit on other days. How do you go about it, like both mentally and even just as a person?
Okay. So in the very beginning, I used to get like a lot of challenges. People would get on social and actually try to challenge my knowledge of hip hop just because I'm a woman. But at the end of the day, when I started doing this thing, I created a vision for where I want to be, what I want to do with myself, and how far I want to take the Ruby brand. So what happened was, I rose above it against all odds. Like someone would try to tell me, you know ABC because you're a woman. And I'd be like, hell no, me being a woman has no impact on the knowledge that I have. You get? So I think having a vision is what really helped me, for starters, knowing exactly what I'm working for, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and how far I want to push it. As long as I know my vision, there's also a quote that I was reading that says, only you know your goal, only you know your focus, only you know your vision. Nobody else can understand it, even if you try to explain to them. So I just move past it because I know at the end of the day, every single day I'm awake, that I know that I'm not where I want to be. I really don't have time for people on social media, to be telling me this and that. So at first it was hard, but I pushed through it, and I had a conversation with myself, that moment of self-reflection where you ask yourself, like, why am I really doing this? What is the aim and what is the end goal of me doing this thing? Once I got that in my head, I think I'm at a very comfortable position right now. Like, you literally cannot come for me if you don't have valid claims.
Okay, so we'll go fast because we have a couple of questions. The other question would be, what would be your advice to a young person during this COVID pandemic, a person suffering from mental disorders, and now having to be quarantined like at home, and also now your home not being a safe space for your just your mental health. It's probably at like a trigger for episodes. So now, how would you advise a person who's going through that? Like, you have to be quarantined and your home is not also giving you a good mental space, and you still have to stay at home.
Okay, that's actually like a very, very sad situation. I actually have a friend who told me that they can't wait to go back to school because they're spending a lot of time at home, and in this spending time at home, they're spending time with like a toxic parent, and she has to spend like a lot of time in her room, just minding her own business. And what I told her was, in the period that you're spending time at home and you're going through all these things, rem- re- remember the things that you are grateful for, right? The things that you are grateful for, and try to avoid that negative energy. Do not be in direct contact of the negative energy. If it's a parent that you have to see every other day, if you can minimize the interaction, do that for yourself. But also, in the time that you're spending with yourself, do not forget the essence of who you truly are. To be quite honest, who our parents are vessels of us getting into the world. What we do with ourselves, as much as a lot of pain and a lot of, like, they might have caused us a lot of pain and trauma, what we do with ourselves once they get us into the world, and especially as adults, that is up to you as a person. So you have to tell yourself who you are. Don't let anybody, like a quote that I absolutely live by is, do not ever let anybody else tell you who you are. You dictate that for yourself.
Okay, thank you. So now the other
Yes.
question would be, have you ever taken a social media break? And then the follow-up is, what would you recommend as some of the things we can do during this, like the detox period? So yeah, basically that.
Okay, so yes, I have taken a social media break before. I think the hardest thing about my line of work and taking social media breaks is social media is work. So if I'm taking a social media break, it means that I'm quite literally taking a break off work. So I do actually take social media breaks. And one thing that I'm trying to do constantly of reducing my screen time is, I have this rule, and I have it even by my bedside, is no screen time past 10 p.m. and no screen time before 8 a.m. It's a struggle, it's a challenge. But I tell myself that the world is not burning without me. And even if the world was burning without me, there's nothing that I could, little old me could do from all the way over here in Kenya from my house, especially if it is during quarantine time. So I try to reduce my time. If I'm watching a movie, I do actively try to take off. But there is a time of my life, I think in 2018, where I went cold turkey off social media for like 2 weeks. There was no trace, nothing was happening on my social media accounts. So it is very healthy. It is very important for you to be off social, because when I did get back on social, I remembered how stressful it was. And if you try it, it's actually very peaceful. Some of the things that we can do during this period of time that we are at home is, for one, try to learn a new hobby, a new skill, a new language. There's this thing I call YouTube University, where you can literally, quite literally, learn everything and anything that you want to, any skill that you've always wanted to learn. You can go ahead and do that on YouTube. So go ahead, learn something new, impact your life positively. If you've always wanted to write a book, now is the opportune moment for you to start writing that book. If you've always wanted to do a podcast, now is the opportune moment for you to do a podcast. If you've always wanted to learn how to draw, this is the time for you to do that. Spend time with yourself and actually discover aspects of yourself that you normally wouldn't if we were moving fast, when outside was open.
Okay. Now, since we're running out of time, we will probably send you more questions on probably Instagram, and you might answer on your story just to make sure it reaches to more
I
people.
will.
Yeah. And so now the
I
last
will,
one, which is
definitely.
on a lighter note, like who would you say is your favorite Kenyan hip hop artist right now?
Woo! Damn. I think I have a few. I'd say, first of all, it's really dope. It's really dope that Kenyan hip hop is really growing in leaps and bounds. Shout out to all the artists who are doing their thing. Hi Tess, shout out to you. Who are doing their thing as far as hip hop is concerned. I'd say favorite hip hop artist at the moment, Kenyan. There's a guy called Jack Quill. He's so dope. He's so talented. I love his music. There's a guy called Joseph, dope, amazing artist. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Shout out to all the girls doing their thing. I have to shout out all the females in the game, of course. Monsky, Silverstone, Beatty, Mandy, Tasha, all these chicks. Yeah, it's a white bunch. Yeah. Talk to me, badai tutaona.
So I really love your passion and how you brighten up when you talk about hip hop. It's really amazing. We really thank
Thank
you for
you.
being here with us. This was really an amazing session. You can see from the chat box, everyone is saying how they love the session. You
Worry,
were really amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
worry.
yeah.
Before she leaves,
Thank
maybe I could
you.
just
Thank
before she leaves, I could just maybe pose a question that we've been asked from YouTube. I think it's a very important one. Can I be heard? Yeah. So the question is from a lady called Noella from YouTube, and she asks, how do you handle a suicide note when you see a tweet or a post, for example, on social media?
Sorry?
Okay. I'm asking, how do you handle a suicide note when you see it on social media?
Oh, how do you handle like suicide, people coming out to talk about their suicide attempts or, thoughts?
Yeah. So
Oh,
suicide.
okay.
Yeah, when you see a suicide post or a note somewhere in social media, yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you something. My quest into mental health was actually instigated, encouraged, pushed by a suicide attempt in my family. Someone very close to me tried to commit suicide, and what I've learned throughout that process is that people who do post their suicidal thoughts or attempts on social media, they're only looking for someone to talk to. They're only looking for an ear, someone who can lend a shoulder. That is all that they're looking for. So if you find someone on social media and you know this person and you can make a phone call to them, go ahead and call them. If you can't make that phone call, you can always just hit them up on social media and tell them like, yo, hey, what's up? I have seen what you have posted. I am sorry that you're going through whatever it is that you're going through. If you're willing to share, I am willing to listen. If you're not willing to share, please know that the world would be a much better place with you in it, and you do not have to do this. Sometimes, honestly, that's all they really need. They only need like someone to tell them like, you matter, you're important, we care about you, we love you, even if it's from a stranger, for them to feel that their life is not completely, worthless or up to nothing. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this.
We really loved your session. It was amazing. We can't
Thank you.
wait to have you again in a different platform. Thank you so much.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you.
So now I will introduce, okay, not introduce really, but I will let Max take on the stage and give us what he has in store for us.
Okay, someone say Y for GG on the chat box if you can hear me well enough. Y for GG on the chat box if you can hear me well enough. Nice. Thank you very much. So in this break, before we introduce our next speaker, we're gonna give you a short break. Yeah, a short break between for the next 5 minutes. So me and Bwari prepared a small session for you, a few puns that we would want you to crack them, or rather we would want you to solve them. So I'm gonna present my screen and I'm gonna ask you this set of puns. Okay, and definitely they're gonna give you bragging rights if you crack these puns well enough. So of course, don't think too much. These are not serious things. They're just wasting your time well. Time well wasted. And yeah, we'll go straight to it. So if you want to answer a question, type on the chat box. Then any of the hosts or co-hosts can read them out so that I can hear if you're right or wrong. And if you also want to say it out loud, you can raise your hand using the icon of raising your hand. Yeah, and Bwari maybe can allow you ask or answer the question. Have I been heard? Y4GG, if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Max.
Amazing. So the first pun. Why are there few jokes on unemployment? Why do you think there are few jokes on unemployment? Anyone? Bwari, you can check the chat box.
I can't see answers. Guys, comment.
Why are there few jokes on unemployment? Guys, anyone? Chat box.
Someone says, because it's not funny to be unemployed.
Wrong. Next.
Ian Murithi says they don't work.
Ian Murithi, you're correct. You're the first person to answer it correct. So you get the bragging rights for this one. And the answer is because none of them work. Okay, next. How do you throw a party in space? How do you throw a party in space? Answers, chat box, or you can raise your hand and ask them via audio or via mic. How do you throw a party in space?
Guys, I can see you. Send in your answers, raise your hand.
How do you throw a party in space? Guys, bragging rights going on. Sorry?
Karen says in a space bar. Irene, space bar. Janet says you planets. Stephen Mutua, you planets. Yeah.
Okay, so who's the first between Janet and the next one was?
Stephen. So Janet was the first and then Stephen, but in like second.
Okay, so Janet and Stephen, you got it right. So how do you hold or throw a party in space? You just plan it. Okay, next pun. So how do you call it when you dream swimming in orange soda? How do you call it when you dream swimming in orange soda?
We can do this.
Yes, Bwari, chat box.
Stephanie Jerry says fantasizing. Sharon Yeton says Fanta.
Okay. Anyone else?
Guys, enjoy participation. Jerry says Fanta Orange. Frank Murithi says fantasy. Wangoi says
so the answer is fantasy.
Yes, Ricky said fantasy.
So if you got it right for the first three set of puns, you have the bragging rights between now and the end of the day, and more will come in between the sessions of the others. of the others.
That is saying people are Googling, like what on a Google? Hey, Googling is weird.
You're taking too time to Google. Don't Google, Bana. Do not Google.
Integrity.
Okay, so we're gonna go directly to the next session, and I'll remind you that our hashtag on Twitter is Youth Y4GG Summit 2020. So you can tweet in your comments. You can tweet in your experience with this summit on Y4GG Summit. Y4GG Summit 2020. Yes, check on the chat box. It has been posted there. Okay, I'm gonna introduce the next guest. Okay, so our next guest is the Youth for Global Goals for the Youth for Global Goals Summit 2020. Is an optimistic young lady born and raised in Africa. She is a social entrepreneur and humanitarian. She is the founder of Able Pursuit, which is an online community and platform giving young people personal and self-development tools, preparing them for present and future work, as well as investment to start businesses. She is the consul at Youth Skills and Innovation Initiative by the Global Business Coalition for Education. Locally, she contributes greatly to Youth in Business Africa, as well as Women in Business. She has investments in agribusiness and good health and well-being. And even more closer home, she is one of the pioneers of the Youth Speak Forum in Kenya that brought together 500 plus youths in Uasin Gishu County, LD, Pale, to address SDG 10 on reduced inequalities and SDG 16 on peace, justice, and strong institutions. And last but not least, she's an alumni of AIESEC in MOI University. And this amazing second guest is none other than, drum rolls, can I get drum rolls? Grace Kosi Jail. Hi, Grace. Can you hear me?
Hi, Max. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm fine. And you? Hey, AIESEC.
You're good, and we're really honored to have you in this space. I don't know. So
I'm really honored too.
Presentation, a PPT presentation. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. And before
I do have a presentation. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So do I go ahead and share?
Before you do that, I have one question for you.
All right.
Okay. So you're speaking on how to plan yourself for a successful life in future. So what would be your definition of success?
Exactly. So I would define success as the ability to achieve a personal goal. Yeah, I wouldn't define success as what everyone else defines success, because there are people who define success by, knowing very well that at the age of, 30, I need to own my private jet. I need to be earning billions, have a six-figure salary. Someone else who defines success in the essence of, creating social impact, maybe in a community, and they decide to start an NGO. Another person would define success as starting a family, maybe by the age of 25, Other guys, everyone has their own definition of success. And this is what I want to talk about today.
Okay, thank you very much. And maybe the next question would be, before you begin your presentation, would be, what is your favorite SDG and why?
Wow, that's a really tough one, Max. I absolutely don't have a specific favorite, but I learned to focus. One of my weaknesses is that I am very poor when it comes to focusing, because I strive, I crave for a variety, like the whole 17 SDGs. I know them by heart. I know some of the targets that need to be achieved by a specific year, but our focus, let's say our focus is Able Pursuit. We really focus a lot on SDG 8, SDG 4 and 8, quality education, and decent work and economic growth. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You can take it away and begin your presentation. You have
All right.
20 minutes and counting.
Okay. Hey, Isaac, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to come and share my little wisdom, what I've been able to gain or learn from experience throughout the couple of years I've lived. And like I said, I want to start by saying that the definition of success shouldn't be what other people think. Rather, it should be from your own perspective. Build your own successful journey by, creating ways through which you can be able to achieve on a step-by-step basis. And to be realistic enough, okay, let me just share what I'd planned to share today. Okay, so there. So this is Able Pursuit. This is a venture that I started in campus as a school assignment. And the whole thing about why Able Pursuit, we talk about, we believe that quality life, quality education, and decent work are a catalyst for personal growth. And also if you can be able to grow personally, then you are able to contribute socially and economically. So the whole essence of starting Able Pursuit was to help, or is to help, young people, young individuals to be able to pursue their abilities, helping them to know their talents, their personal talents, natural talents, and then by knowing your talents, then we can easily guide you through, improving your skills, the necessary skills and competencies, especially right now, because we're in that transition whereby COVID-19 has come to bring a great effect on everyone in some way. We have seen businesses close, we have seen schools close, we have seen government struggle, even powerful governments like the US and Italy, and governments within Europe and Asia, they have struggled as well. So some of the effects, we call them global epidemics. They come in and they force everyone to think in a new way. And these new ways, like personally, you have to look forward to a new normal. And this new normal comes with a whole lot of things. And my question to you is, have you thought of, what the future of work would look like, going forward? Because we are now in a new decade. We're in the 2021 to 2030, we will experience a whole lot of transitions, from automation to so many things happening right now. We've seen the advent of 3D printing, which used to be there, but now it has become even more effective, especially in the health sector. We are seeing so many sectors dying and new ones coming up. And this will go on for a long time. So when I started Able Pursuit, even coming through with the journey, the whole idea of setting up the community platform is to help young people to be prepared as much as possible, because we're all talented. The history of people started years BC, before Christ, when God created man and put man and woman in the garden, and gave man and woman the power to rule over the earth. Of course, with the power came in with the talents. And we have also witnessed this also in the parable of the talents, and the characters even quoted in the Bible or in the Quran, or I don't know so much about the Hindus, but ideally, when you're defining someone, you define them by character, you define them by the contribution they were able to make on earth. Even when you die, guys would be celebrating your life by defining what you're able to achieve, by defining your character and what you contributed to art. So ideally, those are the two key things, the why about Able Pursuit. Number one is about the personal growth and then helping the person achieve what they want to achieve on earth or through their life, generally speaking. So the number one thing I would advise guys to look into is the number one step towards, you know, achieving that successful life. Asking yourself, how do I build a growth mindset? Building a growth mindset is about, okay, first have that growth mindset in yourself that yes, you can achieve this. Do not limit yourself to, you know, the fact that you grow up in a specific background or thinking that you don't have some abilities in you. Yes, of course you have some natural talents, but you can be able to grow them into competencies and skills that are quite necessary in the coming years or in your coming life. That's one step. And then number two, take the time to know yourself. Personally, I would say, okay, we offer this as Able Pursuit. What we do, we help you assess your talents, and then we are able to give you a quick outline of what are your strengths, what do you crave for. You know, we give you the definition of your abilities, your natural abilities. And generally, these are soft skills that then you can be able to build. We then advise you further by helping you understand, how do I, for example, I have a creative talent. So how do I make the best use of this creative talent? I have a creative talent, but I lack a talent in focus, for example. Now, I'm using my own personal example. Some of the outcomes that came in showed that I'm enterprising. That's one of the talents that I have. I'm creative, I'm goal-oriented, I'm very practical, but I lack the focus. And then when it comes to emotional intelligence, I'm able to balance just a little. But then again, if I want to deal with people, then I need to be able to be the best of myself and to control my feelings, you know, my emotions when I'm dealing with anyone, any person, generally, yeah. That way I would be able to maintain the influence that I want to build personally as myself. So I cannot really give specific examples, because ideally we have more than, a human being can have more than 5 talents in their lifetime. At least 5 talents, on an average 5 to 16 talents, to surprise you. And I wouldn't be able to, you know, specifically highlight everyone. Sorry guys, but this is a way to invite you now to come in and, you know, personally have the experience that I'm talking about. But generally, know yourself and remember that self-care isn't selfish. So before you even want to deposit something good in anyone or value in anyone, make sure that you have enough value in yourself that is enough to deposit into someone else, so that you're not left with a negative balance value within yourself. You understand what I mean? You know, like the power of no is very important. Say no when you cannot be able to do something. Just say you cannot. Or if you know you can, but you don't have maybe some few resources within yourself, just say, yes, I would do so, but, and I would be able to do this and this and that. You know, be as explicit and as genuine as possible. Never, ever, ever lie to anyone. You're lying to yourself first. So know yourself, and remember, self-care isn't selfish. And then the third step I would advise is for you to set SMART goals. By setting SMART goals, I would say, ideally give yourself timelines. SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely goals. So giving yourself a set time of, this year I want to achieve this, this, and this. That makes it more realistic than saying in 10 years I want to achieve this and this and this. Enjoying the process is important. Enjoying participation. I know that value from AIESEC actually is very important. Be very specific. Try to measure what you want to achieve by, a specific time. Then that helps you achieve the R, the realistic, making it a little bit more realistic, yeah. And then persevere. Always remember to persevere. Remember to create the willpower within yourself. Be patient. Know that nothing comes in handy. Nothing comes easy, Even God, when he created Earth, it took him 7 days, He's a supreme being. And it took him 7 days to create the Earth. Every day he had something that he was doing. And by the end of the 6 days, he realized, this earth cannot rule itself, I need to create something. So he created man, and then he said, no, I think man, he needs companion. So he created woman. Ideally, persevere. And with perseverance, then comes the willpower to be able to want to do something. And stay motivated. Always try and find small things that can motivate you. When you're trying to you're trying to be on a diet, or you're trying to get fit, keep fit, and you want to wake up every morning, do a morning jog, or do some sit-ups or anything of the sort, try as much as possible to avoid the little distractions, like checking in the fridge, checking some candy bar, chocolate bar, anything that would want to make you go back there. I really loved Ruby's presentation on social media and mental health, giving yourself those simple rules that social media is such a distraction. Try and find ways to, motivate yourself outside of social media, walking out, going out, taking a short walk somewhere, or playing a game with let's say your parents or your guardians or your siblings or your friends, but never ever, don't compare yourself to others. Always stay motivated. Just the fact that you've seen someone else, they're very happy in social media, yeah, and you feel tempted to go into that. Stay motivated. Remember the first step, that you're trying to build your own growth mindset, and then you're trying to know yourself. Avoid any small kinds of distraction. Live within your own means, below your own means. Yeah, you got this. And then never ever stop learning. Yeah, people stop learning, then they age. And with learning comes a lot of wisdom, learning from the mistakes of others, also learning from your own mistakes, and being able to learn things. If you want to do something, always be willing to, to have that open mindset. The open mindset of wanting to learn is very important. Like the fact that you're here, you're participating in the summit, you want to learn about the global goals, you want to learn about how you can, be part of this global goals, how you would contribute to it. This is part of learning. And there's so many other things that come with learning. And the beauty about learning nowadays is that, there's social media, there's internet, there's YouTube, there's so many avenues through which you can learn as a person. I'm also learning every day. I strive to learn, from blogs, writers, watching YouTube. I'm always curious to learn. And it helps me also to not be in that fixed mindset of, I know everything, I'm a know-it-all, I don't need, the guidance of anyone. No, I can do this myself. Okay, there's a thin line being between believing in yourself and achieving wisdom in life. Believing in yourself is the fact that you give yourself the positive motivation that you can be able to achieve something, but at the same time being being knowledgeable or being conscious that you don't know everything, that you have not experienced it. You want to achieve it, but you have not yet experienced it. So it's always good to always find ways to learn from others, how they did it, or in the kinds of mistakes that they did, so that you can be able to avoid them in your future. So ideally, that's my short. Let me stop sharing this. That's my brief presentation about achieving success. Really, it's nothing new, and it's nothing secretive, or it's nothing unachievable. It's about being as disciplined as possible, and trying as much as possible to always define what you want to achieve. Being as realistic as possible is most important, because someone else is driving and you're not. Set yourself within the limits of being as realistic, because someone would be driving, but the car is bought on loan, or someone could have achieved something because they grew up in that background that was able to provide them with everything. So never ever compare yourself with others. I just hope I was able to define ways to achieve a successful life. But let me just share the able pursuit thing, which is and our social media, guys, is able pursuit. That's Instagram and Twitter. We just started on Instagram, and Twitter has been there for some time right now. And feel free to sign up on the app, the web app, ablepursuit.com. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Grace. That is a very amazing session. Believing in yourself and being wise. Those are two different things. I have gathered that, and I hope each and everyone who was listening to you has gathered something. And a soft-spoken Grace Corsi, of course, is the founder of Able Pursuit, as she has shared the link there. You can check it out. So Grace, I have a few questions for you. So first of all, why do you think Kenya, Africa, and the world suffers from unemployment, especially youth unemployment?
Well, that's a very good question. Thank you so much, Max. Ideally, I would, based on our own surveys, because we've done survey with the Global Business Coalition for Education, they appointed me as a youth council member to represent in East Africa. We did a survey and we found out that, and this is quite interesting, because I also need to hear from guys in the chats right now, yeah? The survey shows that interest of young individuals, because this was between ages 15 to 29, that our personal interests do not match opportunities which are available right now in the community. And that the outcome showed 79% actually of the respondents said that, my personal interest, what I want to do, what I want to achieve, it doesn't match what is there out there in the community, in terms of jobs, in terms of also school, what schools are offering right now, which is something that I tend to agree on. And then two, the fact that when I was starting, I said that the world is transitioning, especially in this age, the fourth industrial revolution. The definition of that is that ideally the world of work is now in a base where it's on a set pace where there's a whole lot of automation, meaning that there's less human needed to perform any physical work, not just any, but most of the physical work, including even in the salons, for example. Let me give a quick example of that. In 5 years from now, most of the salons will actually be utilizing AI, artificial intelligence, to create shampoos at the salon. You just create your own shampoo at the salon based on the needs of the customer. For example, I'm here with my hair and I come to the salon with my hair and I need a wash on this and this. So the AI gadget will be able to assess quickly my type of hair, and then they'll be able to produce the shampoo then. So what does this mean for the manufacturing industry? Because that's the beauty industry. This means that they will either get distracted or they will need to play, quickly in that, if I'm producing, I'm manufacturing shampoos right now and they're all generic. They don't work for all types of hair. The same case with makeup right now, the beauty industry is really coming up in terms of ensuring that artificial intelligence is used as much as possible. And surprisingly enough, I was exposed to this by a 10-year-old boy. Well, he's not Kenyan. His dad is, I don't know, I cannot define the citizenship. And the mom, she's from Canada. Generally, the boy is just a global citizen because he does not even go to school. He's busy traversing the world with the parents. And this boy is at the front line of defining the beauty industry. He has a machine, an AI machine that he's using currently to read faces of humans. And then he also read my face, and then he will be able to advise the makeup industry the kind of makeup that is suitable for me. The same case now, what I'm talking about with the salons and the fact that most salons will be producing their own hair products at the salon. So large industries, large companies I do not want to mention right now that are the leaders will get distracted. Just like the battery company in Everready and all that, they'll get distracted. So future of work is highly defined by the innovations. And that's why now I agree that, personal interests of young people do not match the opportunities available, because young people are highly innovative, and we're highly innovative because we have grown up now in this age of, innovation. We've grown up in the age of mobile, the advent of internet. We've grown up with it. And the people leading the industries right now, they were caught up by it. So there comes the clash. And ideally, most young people will need to lean to, things like soft skills, because soft skills will be much in demand. Digital skills will be much in demand. But things to do with technical skills, working in the industries, with the old mechanization, will lapse. By 2030, of course, that will lapse, because a lot of things will be automated. We'll have a whole lot of AI and robots doing the jobs, the technical jobs, also self-driving cars, so many things. There's a whole lot of it, but I'm looking forward to writing a blog about it, and then I'll be able to share with the community with regards to that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Grace. So you basically say it is automation, digitization, and sort of people getting digital and soft skills. So that would be maybe the future of work. So thank you for that. Someone has asked one of our audiences and delegates for this summit. So they put it this way, or he puts it this way. I don't know my passion, even though I have already started working in my area of study. How can I discover my passion?
Okay.
Briefly,
Sorry.
kindly, because of time.
Sorry. They know their passion.
They don't know
Please
their. I
pardon
don't
that.
know. They don't know their passion, although they've already started in their area of study. So how do I discover my passion as well, as okay, as I work on my area of study? Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a good question. So defining defining talent. Talent is ideally, the definition of talent is a natural ability. And with what makes you talented in something is the intrinsic values, what drives you every day, and the kinds of behaviors that you explicit on a day-to-day basis. So by asking, what is my passion, is you will be able to know your passion if we conduct an assessment on you, a personal assessment, talent assessment on you. And then this personal talent assessment outlines different talents that you have, strong talents, and those that you're on a scale of 1 to 9, yeah? I'll give a quick example of creative talent. So interests, values, and drives. So yes, we can be able to help you discover your passions based on that, define that based on the outcome of the assessment.
Okay. Thank you very much. So also, Able Pursuit also targets to create 1 million jobs, or wants to contribute in the creation of 1 million jobs, let's say in Kenya, Africa, and the world. Briefly, tell us how you plan to do this.
Okay, so I said the why part, but I didn't say the how part. The how part is the value that in the community that we're offering right now is, one, we help guys to know their talents and then match them with specific competencies for the world of work. Or two, we help you if you want to set up your own business. We are almost launching what we call a seed fund. Very soon we'll be launching a seed fund to support those who want to set up their own businesses. As long as the business shows that level of sustainability, we can help you also assess and analyze and make sure that every business will create at least 3 jobs in the next 3 months. That's one. Number two, that business will make profits within 3 months. That's two. So the funding ideally needs to work within 6 months of starting the business. Having set up everything, the modeling, everything in the world of business. So that's one way. And so multiplying backwards, 1 million divided by 3. Let's estimate how many businesses those are. That's about 300,000 businesses that we are looking forward to supporting. Yeah, financially, but also helping them instilling the kinds of skills and competencies needed for an entrepreneur.
Okay, thank you very much. Also, could you please tell us briefly about your e-learning portal and personal talent portal and how it works at Able Pursuits?
Okay, so step one, you sign up on ablepursuit.com. Step two, we invite you to complete an assessment. So the e-portal, I don't know how much time, we only have 5 minutes for this.
Less than five.
Less than 5.
Yeah.
Can I?
So, maybe you can just say briefly, then we can share the link with the participants of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just to be as brief as possible, let me share a link of to all of you guys of the demo.
Okay. Thank you.
How the portal looks like, yeah.
Okay, that would work. Okay.
But there's a whole lot of fun things there.
Okay, thank you
Stay
very
with
much.
you.
I think also I would say so if you have any personal questions, you can reach out to Grace Corsi at her Twitter handle Corsi_Grace, Able Pursuit as well, and she
And
has shared.
I also joined Instagram.
Yeah, and she joined Instagram. So you can also follow her there, ask your questions, reach out your startups and all things to do with talent and personal development. Before you leave, Grace, other than your business and your serious part, you also like traveling, fine art, and poetry. Who is your favorite artist or poet?
Well, locally, my favorite artist, I don't have a specific one, but I like Avril, I like her gist, and I also like Nandi.
Okay. Okay. I'm seeing women power. I can feel the power. Anyway,
doesn't mean I don't like guys. I like guys too. Poets. Where did you get that about poetry? But well, I like the spoken word.
Okay.
Artist, yeah.
Okay, so
the
traveling beat. What's your favorite destination?
Anywhere where there's a beach.
Okay. So and lastly, you like filmmaking. What's your favorite Kenyan film?
This Is It.
Okay, This Is It is how we wrap it up. Thank you very much, Grace Corsi. It was amazing having you here. And yet again, we'll remind those who are in this call and watching us live that you can reach out to Grace Corsi at Able Pursuit and on her Twitter handle at Corsi_Grace. Thank you very much, Grace.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Bye.
You're welcome. So also during this whole session, we invite you, all the participants, to get access to that portal through the link you're going to share to you, through which they can know your talents. They can develop they can have an ideal learning style that you can relate to. You can learn soft skills and digital skills, as well as you can get career advice through matching your talents with more than 60 competencies and jobs to choose from. Thank you very much. Bwari, are you there?
Hey, yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you're sipping your water. Dehydration is gone.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we're gonna do the break again.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna read out loud the puns. So I'm gonna present. So guys, those who want to also get more bragging rights again, this is your time. So get ready to get the bragging rights for the session.
Enjoy participation, guys. I need to see the responses. Yeah.
It's difficult to enjoy participation if you don't know.
Check out to my emoji. Like use emojis.
No worries.
Okay, Bwari, you can begin reading it out loud.
Okay. So how do you make holy water? Wow.
Frank.
Okay, give me a second. Someone answered immediately and said, wow, where did it go? You boil the hell out of it. Okay, Frank.
Who was that?
Frank Murithi.
Okay. Is there any other answer hapo wenye iko contrary to that?
Apart from surely, leakage. Hata sikuwa nimeona swali. He's cheating. No, people don't have answers.
Okay, so Frank, seemingly you're gonna have the bragging rights for this one, and you earned it. So next one is so you ball the hell out of it is the answer. Okay,
Someone
next
says
one.
Frank should get out of the game.
Like it's funny.
Okay, so the next one is, what do you call a bee that can't make up its mind? Karen says maybe. Frank says a maybe. I'm loving this. At least Karen answered first before Frank. Like,
Okay, so the bragging rights are snatched from Frank and given to Karen. So
yes.
so what? Sorry. Just a minute, sorry. Okay, we're back. Let me present. Sorry. Okay, so a maybe was the answer to that one. And the next one, Bwari.
What do you call the wife of a hippie? Oh, this one is just interesting. I want to see what you guys have to say about it. Jerry, Jerry is asking if she's the only one who doesn't understand the game. Elsie, give us the answer.
A hipster.
Maureen says a hipster.
Wrong.
A hipster. That was creative though. Steve says Mississippi. Okay, Steve. Wow.
Okay, Steve, you have the bragging rights of this one. We call the wife of a hippie a Mississippi.
Terry also said that, but he was late. So maybe are they going to share or okay, next time you'll answer before him.
We can discuss about sharing the bragging rights. It is
Yeah.
you're not involved in that.
So people
Honestly,
are asking how.
ingefika.
Sorry?
I'm saying even if I'd have thought how much, Mississippi wouldn't have even clicked.
I know. Same here, but we move.
Okay. So Bwari, maybe you can lead us through the next agenda or sessions. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I am loving how we're keeping the time because right now it's 12:51. And yes, between 12:50 and 12:55, we're supposed to be doing the introduction of the SDG activity. So this is really amazing. I really hope you've been loving whatever we've been doing for the past few hours. Our first speaker and our second speaker really gave us amazing information that is really nice. I really love the session. And so now we will go into the SDG activity. So during this period, we will disperse into 4 rooms. Yes, we will disperse into 4 rooms where we will have to talk about SDGs, yes, and then we will also have a session where we will have the AIESEC exchange stories. Again, this is where we will get to see and watch other people in, how's it called, in other countries where they've traveled to and how they loved it, and so get to understand what we do apart from just being in summits and conferences. We also develop leadership by going to other countries in challenging environments and just developing ourselves. And then we will also do a Kahoot. So now a Kahoot, for the people who don't know what a Kahoot is, this is a game where we will have questions presented on the screen and we will ideally play, and the winner might get a little something. So do play, do participate, enjoy participation. So yes, so
okay, so so this session of a breakout session is basically for you to familiarize. This is the Youth for Global Goals summit, so it is for you to understand more on sustainable development goals. So you're gonna have 4 rooms. This room is sort of groups or discussions on SDGs. So we'll have room 1. The room 1 will be discussing on no poverty and zero hunger, and this room will be led by Rono. Room 2 is gonna be led by Bridget is gonna talk on SDG 3 and SDG 6. So that is good health and well-being and clean water and sanitation. Room 3, SDG 13, 14, and 15, led by Uganda on climate action, life below water, and life on land. And room 4, led by Steve, is gonna discuss on SDG 9 and 11. So that is industry, innovation, and infrastructure, and also sustainable cities and economy. So the host of this meeting is gonna break us into sessions. Don't be afraid when you're being put inside the group, whatever group you will fall in, whether you like the SDG or not. We're here to promote all SDGs, and we encourage you just to contribute on the discussions that are gonna happen there. So later on, the person who's gonna lead you is gonna tell us maybe a little bit about what you guys discussed as we're able to educate each other on that. Yeah. So I believe the host can break creation of the breakout rooms and the rooms, so that can begin. Yeah. So you can join any room.
Imagine that you have $1.25. In the United States, you can have 5 bags of deep cheese and a pretzel. In London, you can have an instant soup. In India, you can have 2 steamed rice cakes. In Ghana, you can have a small box of chicken and rice. While you're imagining the tasty smell of that chicken and rice, 1.3 billion people around the world only have $1.25 to survive per day. They don't have a choice, but you do.
What is your favorite midnight snack? Mine is toast with a thick layer of Nutella over it. It makes me sleep really well. But 1 in every 8 people around the world go to sleep hungry with no choice but to dream about food. Although there is enough food to feed everyone on Earth, almost 1 billion people go to sleep hungry. While you're watching this 30 seconds video, 6 children died out of hunger-related diseases. They had no choice, but you do.
My 5th birthday is the best day of my life. I still remember it vividly. My dad bought me this huge Lego set. My mom actually gave me this coloring book. I would spend hours and hours just painting trees and leaves and cats and dogs and imagining the life in the city. I think that's the day when the dream of becoming an architect started. Both presents shaped my life. But then I found out that every year, 6 million children die before they get to their 5th birthday. But we can do something about it.
There is no doubt that quality education can help reduce poverty, foster economic prosperity, improve health and well-being. It can help a person to understand this world better or build a base for the future. It's clear, it's simple, education is important. However, today, there are places around the world where 14 students share just 1 book. Girls simply drop out because there are no toilets in schools. Today, 58 million children are denied the basic right to education. Those children did not even have a choice, but you do.
I fought for my right to education when I was 10, my right to dress the way I wanted when I was 15, for my right to citizenship when I was 18, and for the right to travel the world when I was 21. But that's not all. I will still have to fight for the chance to choose my partner when I'm 26, for equal rights in a divorce when I'm 33, and for equal salary when I'm 44. And sometimes I ask myself, why do I have to fight for every single thing? That's when I remember that's how everything started. I'm alive because my mother fought against female feticide.
It's in everything we do, everywhere we go, every single day. Whether it makes you coffee, washes your face, or roasts your salad. But water doesn't just keep us alive. It gives us everything that we need to make life worth living. Though, thousands of parents watch their kids leaving home every single day to walk to collect the water they need instead of walking to school. 663 million people cannot be confident that the next sip of water will not make them sick. How can we make their lives worth living? How can you make their lives worth living?
my morning routine looks like. I wake up, brush my teeth, get a cup of coffee, read the latest news, charge my laptop, and drive to school. How would this change for me if as 1.8 billion people, I would be deprived of electricity? How would you feel knowing that 3.2 billion people nowadays use coal, crop and animal waste to cook their food and to heat their houses? The world needs a light bulb moment. And this moment is now.
When I was 5 years old, I was an annoying kid, playing all the time and asking my mom to buy me that toy or that toy. And I always wondered why my dad can do the same. Why he needs to spend his time like doing boring things like waking up in the morning very early or coming back late at night. But you know, time has changed. From 2007 to 2012, the number of unemployed people has increased from 170 million to 202 million. And 75 million young people just like me are currently unemployed. So I guess that my father, he had an easier time finding a job. But we can change that.
Never before in history has innovation offered so much potential and hidden so many promises. We keep reading about Elon Musk, founder of the first private space company, who promises to send people to Mars in the next 20 years. 3D printing is about to disrupt every aspect of human life, from printing cars to human tissues and organs. What if only 1% of these big ideas and promises would come true? How would the world change for better? We need innovation. We need you.
Yeah, anyways, thank you. I understand. Thank you. Bye. Should anyone be denied admission to a school because of their color? Should anyone be rejected for a job because of his last name? Should anyone be denied a race because of their gender? Thomas Jefferson said, all men are created equal. But imagine living in a society where you are deprived of opportunities just because of who you are. Imagine not being able to have a voice, to participate or vote. We can change that. You can change that.
Even though my aunt lives in the other side of the city, I visit her every Sunday. Well, she's a really good cook. I love her pancakes. Although we live quite far away from each other, it only takes me 20 minutes to get there. I wonder how much time will it take me to go there 10 years from now, where 60% of the world population will be living in cities. How will they live? How will they travel?